Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the International Paddock. This is round 4 of RFL's 13th season. We are here for the Spanish Grand Prix. The Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya, which has been hosting Formula One since 1991 and will host its last Formula One Grand Prix for now this year. So it's sad because the circuit's only improved over the years, and now this is going to be one of the last editions of this. But hey, Spanish Grand Prix, good memories, good races, big dramas, crashes, everything in between. Hello, Casper. I am doing just fine. My audio is including in your stream as well. I'm live at the moment.
I'm not streaming. Have you paused it or are you still live?
I'm live.
Okay, hello everyone. Let me.
Formality isn't our specialty in the international paddock. Uh, um, we are about as relaxed for commentary as you can get,
Oh, you're telling me. Can you
especially
drag
for
me in,
our.
babes?
Absolutely. Haha.
Oh, actually, screw you. Tom Gorian got to me first.
Fuck a Tom Gorian. Oh yeah. Speaking of Tom Gorian and Vapid Coot racing for Mercedes tonight
Oof.
at Barcelona. Now, obviously, we know the history of Mercedes at this circuit and
Hmm.
a certain incident, but we also know that there's a history between Vapid Coot and Tom Gorian around this
A, cer-
circuit. Wink,
a certain
wink.
incident, which, may I remind you, is 9 years ago this year.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I hope I've not given anybody too much of an existential crisis by saying that. But yeah, that was 9 years ago, and obviously, Tom and Vapid have had their comings together, and I imagine there's going to be a little bit of heistiness within the ranks. But that's what we love. We love to see it.
Well, Tom and Vapid, it was the last year. It was the 10th round of the second season of Papa Champs. And they had a bit of a coming together into turn one. And then Tom kind of retaliated, drove into Vapid, and they were both out of the race.
That
Long Stewart's
sounds like Tom
report,
and Vapid.
long Stewart's report, penalties, everything in between, but we loved every second of it, and it was very funny.
Can imagine, Christ. Yeah. Uh, I mean, goodness me, all sorts of stuff happens here. We're round four, are we not?
Absolutely, round four of the season.
I told you you didn't need to change the title, and yet you did. But, it's fine.
I like the title.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying I set a title and I said leave it. It's fine. But
The stream's gonna be an absolute mess tonight. I'm excited.
listen, you expected something else?
Absolutely not. Yes, Peak is back.
Love it. He says, smashing his table 3 times, which probably shouldn't be smashed because I've got so much stuff on it. I'm worried it'll break. Because listen, I've got 2 monitors, I've got books, I've got a microphone, I've got a lamp, keyboard, I've got loads of stuff on it, and I'm just worried that it'll sort of collapse into itself.
I think we shall wait till qualifying before we go through stuff like championship standings and whatever.
Yeah.
Because it's
Go on.
qualifying's usually just filler.
Hmm.
Drivers
Well,
qualify where they qualify. It doesn't really matter that much on this game, in all fairness.
Yeah, and well, the one bit of filler that I do want to bring up sooner rather than later is a little bit of breaking news, in that International Paddock and Simtech have decided to part ways. By the end of the season, we will not be providing commentary for them anymore. Of course, we wish them all the best. Um, what will happen in due course is yet to be determined.
Well, I hope that the guys who are at the top levels of the paddock will make a fantastic choice and that we will have some very entertaining and new leagues in that will provide some fantastic entertainment.
I mean, as
And
as part of that top end, and there's always opportunity. Of course, it's a shame that we've parted ways, but obviously, make the most of a tough situation, I suppose. So, but let's not dwell on it. We've got 13 drivers, short quali, and a 33 lap race here at Barcelona.
now we will note drivers. They've all been warned very clearly before the race by Cal and myself. Yes, we know the curb exists. We know it will throw you off the road at random notice. Everyone
You know
knows it's
that all
there.
too well.
Everyone knows it's there. So, if you hit it and you cause an incident because you've hit it, entirely your fault.
You know that a little bit all too well, don't you?
Oh yeah, I mean no penalty for it whatsoever.
not
But
to not to rub it in or anything, but yeah.
that was a
Thanks as
waste of
well.
2 hours. Oh,
Thanks as well to Golden Sniper for the follow. Who's just sent that in.
we love you, Golden Sniper. Um, although Gasly profile picture on your Discord. Uh,
Surprised he hasn't waved the white flag if it's French. Not to stereotype, of course, or anything. But anyway.
ugh. Oui, oui,
Right,
oui.
oui, oui, monsieur. Are we expecting any more?
No, I think that's
That's
our grit for tonight.
race confirmation accepted 13 out of 20. So we could be going in a couple of moments' time. No Cal, no Jamie, no Kieran as well. Bit of a shame. No Verklempt as well in
That's a big
this
shame.
race. That is a big shame, yeah. I haven't done.
Verklempt has been in the lead fight for the win in each of the first 3 races.
I was
And
going to
he's
say, because
not
I've
walked away with the big points that he really should have.
really ought to have. Yeah. No, because I've not done too many races for RFL in terms of comms, but the few that I've done, Verklempt has often been up there.
Verklempt is a very fast driver. However, in the first couple of races, time penalties did sort of harm his chances at winning. He finished third on track in Brazil, and he ended up dropping
Two quick
down.
things. Yeah, 2 quick things. First of all, Tom Gurrian has given the sign to go, so we'll be getting going in, what is it, half a minute's time. And second of all, Gold Sloper has actually redeemed a stretch. So if you could please do a bit of a stretch for me. And that's definitely a stretch and not an orgasm. Anyway.
Oh, trust me, I have the loudest stretches ever. Because
I am the same thing.
you could tell the difference between a moan and a stretch with me.
Oh, right. I'll
we'll
bear that in
spare
mind.
we'll spare that for after the stream, though.
Yes, spare it for after the stream. Let's not go too much into that. As it is short qualifying, we're getting underway. Round four here at Gran Premio de España, in possibly my most British accent possible.
It's Gran Premio de España. And
I
la clasificación. Arriba, arriba.
I thought for a second you were drifting into Italian there.
Oh, it's raining. It's
And he's
wet.
chucking it down. And so am I.
Not really
No, I'm
chucking
joking.
it down, but it is wet.
It's into conditions. Let's put it that way.
Lap data enabled, track map enabled, so you on your screen can see all the lap times the drivers are setting and all of the positions on the circuit that the drivers are on. We'll switch it to gap to leader because we don't like doing maths around here. We just like to know the numbers. And I believe that's a Mercedes on track first.
Actually, no, you're wrong. It's a Sauber. It is Golden Sniper, the man that redeemed a stretch for yourself. First out on trans McLaren as well, and the Ferrari behind LTK Terrier, and then behind it looks to be Lord James, who's just started his first qualifying run. By the way, if you do want to watch more racing here on International Paddock, do give us a follow and all of that good stuff. More racing still to come tomorrow as well. With Masters at Zandvoort.
I love Zandvoort. I was actually at Zandvoort a
I
few
know.
months ago. That was a good day.
I know. Was it? Fair enough. Plenty more cars on as well. Danny's on track inside. Finn's as well. Both of which did well in the UCR race last night. You can give it a watch here on Twitch. It'll be live on YouTube at some point over the coming days, whenever I can be asked to do a thumbnail and get Kirby to post it.
Now, Golden Sniper is going to be the first driver to start a flying lap, but I think the one really to watch here is LTK Terrier. He hasn't won a race so far this season, but he has been at the front of the field in every qualifying session so far. He is the one to watch as he heads to turn one.
Tops out at 190 miles an hour down the front straight coming into that first complex of corners. Coming into turn 3 now. Ooh, back end sliding.
That was
through there, topping out fifth gear. It is. It is, but it's brilliant, and I'm not going to say I didn't love it. A bit of sort of slightly transforming into a boat through turn 4, turning into 5. Car doesn't want to for a brief moment, then on the power downhill through the kink at 6, braking for 7 here, just under 160 miles an hour on entry, and a bit of a struggle on traction as well through 7, 8, and now into turn 9.
On the exit here, he's going to use the overtake mode. DRS isn't enabled at the moment, and I think with the way that the drivers are entering the circuit now, with most of them on track at this point, I think that the rain is going to remain. Otherwise, but if that's not the case, then I do question some of the drivers' choices. Angelo and Kozlezko still in the garage.
LTK Terrier goes fastest, 20.8, thanks to Mr. Mike Marshmallow for the follow as well. He's just sent that in. Much appreciated as always. Who else is coming through? Tom Gorian is finishing up his lap. Ooh, goes wide at the final corner though. And that is that for him. Yeah, and final corner.
That's the Williams up into P2. 1.3 seconds off the pace though. He needs to go a bit quicker than that if he wants to have a serious chance at getting pole position. XRT inside. He's a quick driver, but the times aren't
Mm.
reflecting that. Finn's 6 tenths off the pace, so Tarrier is really quick here. Despite Finn's purple sector 3, DT is going to be the next one to cross the line, and that's going to put him
Fourth
P4.
place. I think with the purple sectors taken with a slight pinch of salt as Rikaz invalidates his lap, he's going to have to. Well, this lap is invalidated because of that as well. I think with the purple sectors, if it's their first lap, it sort of defaults to being fastest sector. I don't know why, because it's EA and the game doesn't work as you want it to. But also on inside and on fins, they were doing really well last night. Where were we last night? Can't remember where we were last night. We were at Qatar last
Qatar.
night. Yes, as Lord James goes into third, Vapid into fourth as well. So that time by Tarrier looks to be a really competitive lap time with 13 to
And
go.
Tom's invalidated. Is that the second time he's invalidated?
Must have been. I think Danny puts himself up a little bit extra into fourth place as well. As Cam comes through turn 12, UCR Senna as he peels it into turn 13, and then Catalonia corner, the final corner around this circuit, which is this year is the final year that it's going to be on here. Because of course we're going to Madrid from 2026 onwards. Senna to 8th place as it stands with the 22.822, just over 2 seconds down on Tarrier.
Lord Recaz invalidating again. So the Haas driver is struggling in these conditions.
Lord
So
James on an improved lap, 4/10 of a second up through 2 sectors here. He could be certainly someone to watch. Certainly on the front row, could he manage to salvage here an early pole position? As it stands, 20.8 to beat. Not quite, it's a 20.936 here, second place, but not all that far off here.
Vapid Coot at the moment in P4. I think he improved his lap just after Lord James crossed the line. If he didn't, then I've been mistaken. That's my bad. His teammates entered the pits along with Mr. M7.
Finn's on a run here. He's over 8/10 clear of his personal best through the first 2 sectors. It was 4.5 tenths through the first. So this could be, a mid 20 lap time. That would be a great target for him to reach for. 1:30 through the Catalonia corner, just about within track limits. Into the final corner, he does go for a 20.461, puts him on provisional pole as it stands, but there's still 10 and a bit minutes left to go.
That is a crazy time for SFR Fins. And I'll tell you what, he still had quite a bit of battery left in his car to use as he approached the line. So I think we're going to see a lot more pace coming from that Red Bull in the next few minutes.
It does also depend on the weather condition, because if it does get better over the next couple of minutes, we could see 1 or 2 drivers possibly a little bit lower down try to put a gamble on the soft tyre. But we'll keep an eye on that inside on a stonker of a lap as well, just under a second better than his PB as it stands.
Well, I reckon this will be good enough for P4 if he can keep up the momentum, and second row at a grid is respectable. You can get yourself up into first position, starting all the way in P4 around Barcelona. Just ask Fernando Alonso. Or was he all the way in 5th? I can't remember, but he had a very
He goes
good
P4.
start. He had a very good start here one year.
He goes exactly P4, so you fully predicted that, Scott. Well done.
It's basic maths, bro.
Yeah. Quick maths, innit?
In it, bruv.
In it, bruv. You say to a man that's been living in London for over 2 years now.
UCR Senna 22 seconds off his, so not 22, 15 seconds off his best. I have my Xbox Live party chat in the top right, so I'm going to move that to the bottom left.
Yeah, you probably should. That's not. I have mine centre right.
Yeah,
As right. Let's keep talking. Angelo's just started his lap with just under 9 minutes to go, so we are past halfway now into this qualifying session. Finn's on top, Tarrier second, Lord James third, with inside fourth, Vapid in fifth place as well.
I'm watching Angelo here, and I can tell that the track conditions are improving. So I think towards the end of this session, pole could be decided just by who happens to be last across the line to start their final flying lap. But if you're Tom Gorian, then you'll need to mainly focus on getting a lap that is valid, and he's trying to do exactly that as he goes through turn 4, and he's struggling through that corner for grip. But Angelo through the final 3 corners of this circuit.
57.7 after 2 sectors. Yeah, it could be interesting. I reckon it could be sort of midfield time. I'm not 100% sure as he comes into the final corner, 128 miles an hour through that final corner. Where does he go? He goes into 9th place, so just below the midfield. So I wasn't quite as close as you were.
Well, there's always more opportunities to improve. It's a lap time that he's got on the board. I'm expecting a bit more from Kozlezko. Kozlezko in the first few races has really been struggling for qualifying pace. I don't think he's qualified within the top 10 at all so far this season. Tom's went up into P4.
Good start there for Tom. Lord James, over a third of a second faster through the first sector. If he can keep this going through the other 2, this could be quite interesting. Golden Sniper's just put in chat, no Gasly slander, lads, with a smiley face. So we'll try to keep the slander of the Frenchman to a relative minimum. Lord James, almost 3/4 of a second faster. This could be, pole position, maybe a 119 here.
That would be truly special from the reigning champion, retaining his seat at Ferrari following last season. He's going to cross the line now, and I imagine he's going to go straight to the top. Yes, he is, a 1:20.1. But I still think there's a lot more pace towards the end of this session.
Well, like you said, the conditions look like they're improving, and if they're improving at a pretty big rate, then that could certainly be something to look forward to. DT up by about 1/4 of a second, currently in 10th place. 22.171, if he keeps going, could get himself onto that 4th row, which would help, but it would also put him right in the middle of the mid-pack, so sort of benefits and disadvantages on that one. Through Catalonia corner, the final one here, as he comes across the finish line now. Where does he go to 7th place? 1:21.5. Monster final sector for him. Not quite fastest, but puts himself into that top half of the field, which is not all that bad.
That's a solid lap for DT. 1.3 seconds still to find for the Visa Cash App RB AlphaTauri Toro Rosso driver.
I'm sorry, I'm looking on with Vapid, and that back end through turn 4 was horrendously loose. Now he's invalidated his lap, I think, partly because of that, but he was 4/10 up through the first sector. If he continued that with a valid lap, that would have been insane. Could have possibly rocketed him all the way to sort of the top 2, top 3.
Vapid certainly has pace. He's
that he does.
He's a driver who's consistently at the front, getting podiums, top 3 in the championship usually every season. So he's not quite as fast as the likes of, say, he's not quite as fast as the likes of Lord James or SFR Finns, is what I'll say. But yeah, he has the racecraft, and that's all you need.
4 minutes to go here in qualifying. 4:10 if we're being specific. Lord James leads the pack at the moment. Defending champion in the Ferrari. Finn's in 2nd, Danny 3rd. Tom Gorian 4th, Tarrier in 5th place. Then inside, DT, Vapid, Senna, Angelo Kozlezko, Golden Sniper, and then Lord Rickaz round out your top and only 13 drivers in this race. Mike Marshmallow, finally a decent commentator this week. Thanks. I know. Thank you.
Uh, Interesting comments. I think I do just a fine job in
Hey,
commentary work.
listen. That's not something you've got to take up with me. That's something you've got to take up with Mr. Mike Marshmallow.
I prefer not to
Uh,
speak to that man. I think we'll leave that for
that's
after the stream.
that's completely fair enough. Yellows in the first sector for traffic. Looks to be for inside. Moving out of the way. As we've got 3 minutes left to go in qualifying, so the final couple of laps are coming your way here in Barcelona.
I believe this could be as much of a six-way fight for pole position if Vap and Cook can hook up a good lap together. If he is going to go out on track, that is. He's got about 45 seconds to make his mind up. Lord James is going to start his final flying lap. LTK Terrier is on a flyer. And LTK Terrier's off.
Almost! Oh, manages to keep out of the wall just about, but that back end was horrendously loose. That is...
Lord James has made a mistake. He's backed off. He's going to go for another lap.
Yeah. So he's got time to go again if he wants.
Donny M7 gets underway. Vapid's now out on track. The only drivers still in the pits are Lord Recaz and UCR Senna and SFR Finns. But those guys, I think, Senna's done with his session. Lord Recaz is done, and SFR Finns is done. So Finns won't be in that fight for pole position. Danny's improving.
Let's have a look. He's 10th and a half up. That's pretty nice. I'll see. Is anybody else improving? LTK Terrier's lifted off. Inside seems to have lifted off as well. He's currently in 6th place as it stands. As Danny sends his way up through 7-8 down towards turn 9. Down the hill once again towards Lacacia, turn 10 and 11. 2/10 up here. This could be front row here. Could be interesting. With a minute to spare. Where's Finns? Finns is through turn 3. He needs to get a bit of a leg on here.
Actually, you know what? I think Finns can make it here. But he needs to push 100%. Danny M7 is going to cross the line. He's going to go into P2, less than a 10th off of pole position. Lord James is a quarter of a 10th up through the first sector on his fastest lap time. Let's see if he can improve and get further ahead from the rest of the field. Tom is starting his final flying lap. LTK Terrier, he's going to have to start his final lap.
I don't think Finns can make it. It's 18 seconds and he's only through turn 10 now. I don't think Finns is going to be able to fight himself for the front row here. Oh, yellow flag 6-5, no chance. No way in hell is he making this final section. He went out of the pit lane too late here. Tom Gorian on an absolute run. He's almost a third of a second up on his personal best. Harrier is done. He's going through the grass through turn 13. That might be due to cutting that curb. If you know what I mean. Lord James 119, 943. That is one hell of a lap time.
We've got there. The 119 has been set, but Tom Gorian wants to improve and get his way up into pole position, but I don't think he's going to have enough pace. He could get up onto the front row. We'll see how he goes through the final turn. He's absolutely throwing the car into that turn. DRS is not going to be enabled as he crosses the line, as it is wet conditions, but third position on the grid for Tom Gorian. Kozlezko will be the last driver to complete a flying lap, and Kozlezko is off the pace and he will not improve, and yet again qualifying outside of the top 10, just one place off of Angelo Lissimo.
And yours
LTK
kicks off up at
Tarrier.
top 10.
LTK Tarrier, that's a surprise. Down in P6, he won't be happy with that, but he will be able to make his way up the field. It's a very competitive field. XRT inside, a bit off the pace, and that's also a surprise to me. And he'll want to, as I say.
DSN 60 FPS, I think that's DT. His first
Yeah.
top 10 in quali. That's very, very well done to yourself, mate. Yeah, it's a bit of a surprise as well for Inside. Because he's, again, from experience, because I do UCR, he's normally quite high up there. So I'm ever so slightly surprised that he's that low. Angelo gets himself top 10 just about as well as Tom Gurian gets himself a third place. But there's your qualifying standings at the moment. Lord James and Danny will be leading the very long run down into turn one. Probably second longest run behind Mexico, I'd hazard a guess. Tom Gurian, Finns, Vapid and LTK Terrier, your top six. 33 laps here around Spain could be quite an interesting race. Hopefully, in dry conditions, we'll see what happens. Don't go anywhere.
Let's take a look at the championship standings, shall
I
we,
was
as
about
we
to ask.
wait for the grid. So XRT inside, we were talking about him. He got second place in the opening round at Mexico City. He put on a good show.
But by the way, just quickly, sorry to interrupt. We go at 2027. So we go in
That's 2 years
about
away.
4 minutes. 4 minutes. 4 minutes. While you're going through championship standings, I'm going to go get myself a drink. So I will return imminently.
So, XRT inside, I mentioned he was second in the opening round at Mexico City, but he missed the Portuguese Grand Prix, only finished 10th at Sao Paulo. So that's him in 8th in the championship, 24 points. He's 5 points off of Tom Gorian. Tom Gorian having a highest finish of 5th place this season. Mistakes, time penalties have been hurting him in the results. Angelo, 2 4th positions and an 8th position. He's joint on points with LTK Tarrier, who has 2 podiums to his name, but also a P12. So both of those guys on 31 points. Verklempt is missing the race tonight, so no doubt he's going to drop down. He's on 38 points. Lord James and Vapid Coot on 44 points each. 5th, 6th, and 1st for Lord James. 3rd, 2nd, and 6th for Vapid Coot, 74. The winner in Portugal, the reigning world champion, he has been a bit inconsistent in the first few races. As I say, it's the same case with Tom Gorian. Incidents, penalties, mistakes. He got a 10-second penalty in Brazil for speeding in the pit lane, but he got that result on the board at Portugal, which has moved him 3 positions up in the standings. But SFR Finns, 51 points. He's 7 points clear off Lord James and Vapid Coot, top of the standings after 3 races. And he missed the Portuguese Grand Prix altogether, but he has 2 wins and a fastest lap to help him up the order. Because Lesgo is just behind XRT inside in 9th. 19 points, 7th, and 11th. He can do so much better than that. That's a huge surprise, as I've said, this season. No drivers making their first start tonight, I believe. They're all drivers who have already done a race this season so far. So,
Hello, I am back.
hello.
Kislesko, I'm gonna apologise for any language because he's put some language. I am fucked. I loaded up a wet setup because I thought there'd be rain in the first 15 minutes of the race. I may sacrifice a quali ban for Monte Carlo. Is the exact wording of what he's just said in the RFL Discord.
I don't know what he means by that.
So I think from my understanding, it's basically he screwed up because he thought there was going to be rain in the early part of the race, partly because of qualifying, but clearly that's not the case, and he's loaded up a wet setup, so he is going to be slow, and so he's thinking something to do with the quali ban. I'm not quite fully aware of the rules within RFL that could give him a quali ban, but I'm sure. I mean, is it worth sacrificing quali ban especially for Monaco? I don't
Monaco
think.
is a wild card circuit. You don't want to
Huh?
qualify at the back of the field. Well, I say Monaco's a wild card circuit, but I guess that's not necessarily the definition of wild card.
Whoa.
My
Oh
cat
god.
is screaming at me, and I can't. It's a
Why has that done that?
disaster. Get yourself
Why has
in,
it done that?
Casper. My cat is
Listen.
crying at my door. I can't do anything about it because I'm live streaming. We can't just abandon the stream for the cat. All he wants is to be fed, and he's way too early.
Oh yeah, I've just been kicked out by the game, which is helpful.
Well, we're about to get going for the formation lap. A bit late, but that gives you plenty of time to get in. Let's go to the spectator menu and detail the tires. And we have a mix. 3 drivers in the top 10 on mediums. Danny M7, SFR Fins, and UCR Senna. SFR Fins on the mediums. That's an interesting strategy call. I'm excited to see how that one plays out. Lord James, Tom, Vapid, LZK Terrier, XRT inside, DT, Angelo, Kozlezgo all on the hards. I mean, Lord Rikaz in P13 is on the mediums, but Golden Sniper, I think he did this last race he raced in, starting on the soft compound. He's going to try and make up the places early on, despite, after that poor qualifying, which, I mean, everyone would want to improve if they had a qualifying.
I
Like
think. Go on. I think the main thing is, if you're careful about the lines that you have, you can actually make softs last long. I know of a guy who, again, this is in the previous game, so it might have been patched, but who managed 36 laps on a single set of softs, and the times at the end were still comparable to his stint on mediums
These guys
at
are
the start of the
still
race.
these guys are still riding that curb before the penultimate corner.
Well, that's on them. You don't need to worry about that. If they decide to spin, that's on them, not on you. It's their decision. So they were made aware of it. What they do with that information is up to them. As we get ready to start here in Barcelona, round 4, we're about a third of the way into the season now, as we've got 8 more to go, I believe. Somewhere around about that number. As we're all lining up here.
11.
11, sorry, all 5 on. And we're away here in Barcelona. Looks to be a poor start for Danny. He's going to be losing a couple of positions. Fins could be making the most of that. It's still a fight all the way down towards turn 1. Lord James probably going to have the lead, but is Tom Gorey going to try and force himself up that inside? Yes, he is. Fins up to 3rd, Terrier to 4th. Danny still fighting with Vapid for 5th and 6th places. Williams on the inside. That is Senna trying to make up a position on inside. Couldn't quite make it up his inside as Finn's looking for his position on Tom Gorian into turn 4. He's still got that inside line, and he manages to make up that position. Still too wide, a little further back. Danny holding that outside line into turn 5. Tarrier still fighting side by side, multiple bits of contact through the kink at 6 and down towards turn 7. Tarrier still has the lead in that battle, but Lord James leads the race.
Unbelievable start. That was epic. So many battles down through the first few corners, but they have found their way through. That's an inside move on inside. And DT's not going to get ahead and up into P7. Golden Sniper.
Oh, but he doesn't here. But Senna manages to make the move into turn 12 and through 13. They're side by side. Can he make it work? Yes, he can.
Brilliant, brilliant driving from UCR Senna. Opportunistic, but look at this towards turn 1. SFR fins. He wants to take the lead.
Oh.
Off of Lord James. Down the inside. They're still going to remain side by side. However, Fins on those medium tyres is going to take the lead. And Lord James is going to be under a bit more pressure. Tarrier wants to gain a place, but he's not going to risk it for the biscuit right now.
But does he make it through here though? He's side by side with Tom Gorian into turn 5, round the outside. This time, can the McLaren make it work? He tried to defend the inside, couldn't make it work, attack the outside. Through goes Danny!
Tom Gorian, I think again, it's just having a poor exit in turn 4 and it's opening up the space for other cars to come through, and that was opportunistic again. This time for the other Williams, and he's going to gain a place off of that. Fantastic.
I don't think it's just necessarily a poor eggs out of turn 4. I think poor eggs out of 7, or at least coming through 7 as well, because that's something where what happened is Lord James, he's hit that curb.
They were warned about it. And
the drivers were warned about the curb. That causes drivers to spin as there's a change for second place. Danny makes up a position. Tom Gorian makes up a position on Tarrier as well. So Tarrier, no DRS, he's lost a lot of positions there.
That is a shame, obviously, to see a top front-running driver fall down the order because of that. But at the end of the day, it is entirely his fault.
Position change overall. The only person that's actually lost position is Lord James. Everybody else has either stayed level or gained a spot, which is not something you see very often. Finn's up the most, up 3. Tarrier up 2. Senna up 2 as well. But Lord James' biggest drop. He started at the top. Now he's gone all the way back down to the bottom. See if he can recover over the course of the next 30 laps.
This has been quite the start, and this is the RFL we love to watch, where the racing is so close, the battles are epic, and they do not leave each other an inch on the circuit. But
I mean, yeah, there's been a lot of very opportunistic moves. Why goes Tom Gorian into the gravel round the final corner? And this is a great opportunity for these guys. Oh, no, wait, is he back? No, he's back. Okay, so he lagged out for me then.
Yeah, I was confused for a second. Tom.
Yeah, no, he fully lagged out for me. Went into the gravel. That's why I was confused for that one. But he's okay. He's okay. Breathe, ladies and gents. You can breathe. Tom Gorian is a-okay.
Danny M7.
In fact, he's actually putting fastest first sector.
Danny M7 closing it a little bit. That's because let's go around. Down and out of that battle he was in. He's now in last position. DT gets the first penalty of the day. Only 4 laps in. You can't afford to do that. Lord James has passed Lord Ricaz, and that is James up into P11 now. So he's making the steady progress that he needs to make. Will he catch these guys at the front? Maybe, maybe not. And his title defense, as I said, mistakes cost him in Mexico City. Mistakes cost him big time in Sao Paulo. We got the win at Portugal, but another mistake looking like it's going to really affect his result today, especially with the pace that Championship leader has.
DT contact with Angelo through turn 1. He's still side by side almost. Bit of a late move there from the Racing Bulls, because yes, they're now officially called the Racing Bulls, not just RB, as of this season. But it was a late move there from DT. Lord James making the move on Golden Sniper into turn 4, despite Golden Sniper's soft. Maybe they've already started to dip out of their performance window.
Or it's a skill issue.
Could be. Very well could be.
Honesty here at the International Paddock.
Listen,
We love you,
listen.
Mr. Sniper. We love you.
We love you, Mr. Sniper, but could still be a skill issue. By the way, speaking of International Paddock, next Tuesday, I believe, is Simtek's final races, or it might be the week after. I can't quite remember that one. As Tarrier moves up a spot up to 3rd place as well, does Tom Gurian do the same thing? No, Vapid even. No, because Tom Gurian is the lead Mercedes at the moment. What are you looking at, Kacper? Jesus Christ.
What I was looking at, Kacper, was LCK Tarrier through the final corner, driving completely off the circuit. He's definitely going to get a track limit
I did spot that
for that one. So
I did spot that, but
it's a lazy error because it's a flat out corner, and you know you don't have any problems getting through there.
yeah. What's interesting is that the medium runners, actually, the 2 medium runners that are at the top, they've pulled away a good little bit. The question is, of course, can they manage to make that long term? Because, of course, Fins and Danny started at the mediums, then Tarry all the way down to inside are on the hard tyres. So, is starting on the mediums early a good opportunity, I think, is the question that I'm trying to ask, as Lord James makes a position up into 9th place now, so gradually climbing himself up the ranks. Tom Gurian makes a spot on Tarrier. Does Vapid do the same? He goes to that inside and does make that move. So it is Tom Gurian and Vapid 3 and 4.
Good progress from the Mercedes boys. Now they need to just figure themselves out. that's going to be a difficult one, but
oh, DT and Lord James side by side contact again through the first chicane.
DT's not going to give this one up very easily. Lord James, I know he's the faster driver. He's trying to get his way up the field. However,
he's holding that inside. No, Lord James is effectively saying, "What you are is in my way. Sod off."
this is the trouble when you fall down the field. Catching's one thing, passing's another, and
exactly.
I don't think DT... Oh, look at Tom and Vapid side by side. Vapid goes up into 3rd place. Tom Gurian lost out and was side by side, I think, with LCK Tarrier even, when they were going through turn 10. Round the final corner to start lap number 8 of the race. And I'm ready to do this all over again. These guys trying to figure out where they want to go.
Let's see this. Oh, that McLaren's boxed in a little bit. Could be going around the outside of turn 1 here. Inside of 2 is where it turns. Then through turn 3, it does look like Tom Gurian managed to defend it pretty well, but he's lost a little bit of ground to his teammate. And LK Tarrier is right there, right on the inside of turn 4 here. Has to let off a little bit to Tom Gurian, so the Mercedes teammates are split up a little bit.
This is getting very good, and I think as the race progresses and the tyres start to degrade a little bit, and then the pit stop strategies are going to start coming into play.
Scott, got a couple of people asking for tyre graphs. If you could just pop them up for us.
Tyre graphs.
Omar, if you spell my name right, I'll be a little bit nicer.
Tyre graphs up. I usually don't like having them on the screen because unless it's like a crucial moment. But everyone has a preference, and I think it's what the viewers want really more than anything. So we're gonna put that on.
Yeah, we'll keep him up for a bit. We'll take him down a little bit. Tarrier making a move on Vapid down to P3 once again. Does Tom Gurian go down the inside? No, he does not. Mercedes play nice, at least for a little bit.
Angelo's made the place. He's up into P7.
How entertaining.
Fantastic.
Fantastico. Probably. I don't know Italian. Kacper. That's...
Well, I think what Angelo
still...
has said to UCR Senna is Vaffanculo.
Vaffanculo, Jesus Christ.
Do you know what that means?
Vaguely.
Right, good.
I'm vaguely aware. I know it's not something that you should repeat on the air, let's put it that way.
Are we past the watershed?
Not quite. We've still got 20 minutes.
Man, Italy we are. Here we are. Lap 10 coming up.
That's actually a fair point. You're not wrong.
And in Spain. We're live in Spain.
No, Spain. I think Spain is the exact same time zone as the UK, unfortunately.
No,
believe me,
doesn't matter. Van was making a place.
Down into turn 1 once again. Big hotspot for overtaking through this first and start of the second set.
I personally think that Omar's made the best decision of this league's history, putting Vapid and Tom in the same team, just as a social experiment to see how this one goes. And I tell you what, these guys, it just looks so right having Vapid and Tom both in the Mercedes. It's a Hamilton-Rosberg kind of relationship. Lord Recaz has spun out on a corner that's flat and high. But it doesn't matter, he's P12. SFR Finn's leading by 2.2 seconds, so that gap slowly increasing to Danny M7. Danny M7 2.7 seconds ahead of Vapid Coot 74 and the rest of this pack, despite the fact that DRS is enabled for these guys and they're not actually fighting too aggressively. But I think in the next 5-6 laps that gap might start coming down as Terrier goes up into P3 yet again. We think Casper's passed away on the air. Oh, he actually has. He's gone. Anyway, here we are. Vapid Coup, 6 tenths, 7 tenths. He'll remain in the DRS unless something goes catastrophically wrong. Hello, Casper. He's back. He's been revived from the dead.
I am fully Jesus. I've resurrected from the dead. No. So my controller. I am on a slightly flimsy wire. It's randomly disconnected itself, and then my headset didn't want to work for like a minute and a half, which helps. But you know, we're here. That's the important bit. Lord James makes a move on Senna into turns 10 and 11. Perfect timing.
Oh, and by 0.03 of a second, Terrier has moved outside of the DRS range. Fastest lap in a race. He's dumped so much of his battery to pull away, but Tom Gorian's going to make the move on his teammate, and he's going to get right back on to the tail end of that McLaren. You think that once you get that 1 second clear, you're all good, but then they gain 5 tenths on the straight to catch you back up again. It's the conundrum of the weekend. How do you manage your ERS? How do you cope with these DRS trades, and how do you pull away from them? Tom Gorian, purple first sector. He is on the move.
Someone else is on the move is Lord James. Let's bring it down just a smidge. Lord James on the move as well. He's up past his teammate, so he's up into that top half. So he is making gains slowly, but the biggest gap of the lot so far, I think, for him is going to be catching 6.5 seconds to inside, so that he can get into this battle for third, fourth, sort of slightly wavers between the pair, but could be quite interesting. Let's have a look what they do down the front straight. Out of Catalunya corner here, turn 14 now, used to be 16 when that twiddly little chicane was here. As they make their way down towards turn 1, no move, no move. Actually, one thing that I have spotted is, Scott, if you look at the season calendar graphic, it still has the old Barcelona layout.
I haven't
And
noticed
that
that.
does... I
believe
did notice that.
it's Fins who's making the graphics, so I think we should give him a 10-second time penalty.
I fully agree with this. Not just for RFL, but for UCR as well. Hold on, I'll call Jamie.
Oh dear.
I'm joking. I am joking.
I'm not.
I'm not joking. I'm Kacper. But anyway.
These guys are catching Danny M7. It was
They are.
2.7, it's now 1.4.
That gap is closing. Could be quite... again, pardon me, are we at this point where the mediums are starting to drop off a good little bit? I think we're not far off.
And I think Vapid's starting to struggle maybe a little bit for pace. I've just noticed XRT Inside's been on the back of his DRS trim for the entire race. I haven't even noticed.
He's just been sitting there, saving his tyres, saving his fuel, and saying, you know what? I'll let you guys fight it out because I cannot be arsed.
SFR Fins, the gap's still about 2.5 seconds, but you never know, that gap could start coming down once Tarrier catches up to Danny and gets DRS on Danny, and if they work a certain way with the DRS and they can catch Fins, or anything can happen. Fins might get caught out by the death curb, like Lord James did.
DT said in the Discord just as we were getting ready to go, good luck, have fun, and Angelo, sorry, mate. I'm not quite sure not quite sure what that was about. Probably something to do with qualifying, as Danny's already weaving a lot down that front straight, so he's already trying to cut the toe. So already worried about losing a position here.
No, I said SFR Fins, if he happens to get caught out by the death curve. I went on board with him through that corner, and he has been a good boy. He is not driving anywhere near the death curve, so he is looking solid for this one.
He has been a good boy. Oh my word.
Tarrier got a bit confused when he watched the race highlights back for the Portuguese Grand Prix, and I called him a good boy. And it's just a nice thing to say. Tarrier nearly spinning it. I don't do it this week, please, Tarrier. You've done so well so far. Don't spin out, please.
I'm not sure why, but at this point, I'm too afraid to ask.
It's just a Scott.
Right.
Scottism.
Well, I'm sure we're going to hear a lot more. In goes Fins, in goes Danny.
Ding, ding, ding.
Tarrier is going to take the lead here for the first time, I think, of this race. I'm going to second. Vapid up to third. So this battle is now for the lead as the two Mercedes are going to swap positions. Vapid's going to go ahead of Tom Gorian.
And he's going to miss the apex as well, just for good measure. They're 1.7 seconds off Tarrier. Tarrier is playing a master stroke here, and he's now ahead. Great driving from LCK Tarrier. What a performance he's having, and this looks like it could work out. Depends, though, if the likes of Fins and the likes of Danny get caught up in battles. Danny 1.3 seconds behind DT. DT was making life hell for Lord James. Maybe he'll do the same for the Williams. But
one thing that I do want to mention on that front is something must have happened in the pits between Fins and Danny, because that gap between them has expanded to about 4 seconds. It was just under 3 as they were coming into just under or just over about 3 seconds, but now it's jumped up an extra second. So something must have happened in the pit lane. Actually, in comes Lord James now.
Ooh!
Right, this is going to be a good benchmark, so we can see where he is in terms of the net lead.
I think the
Right,
gloves have been ripped off at Mercedes. That was a very aggressive defensive move from Fapid. I know you guys were watching that. You were watching that battle, but we were live with the Mercedes, and oh, this is gonna get fantastic.
oof, gorgeous stuff. Cannot wait. Lord James, he is. That is 7.5 seconds behind Danny, so he's within just around 10 seconds of the net lead as it stands, I think. So 10 seconds in half the race, that's doable.
It,
Especially in clean air, which he's got 6 seconds worth of.
and on those medium
I don't see
tires,
why
as
not.
you said. Or did you say?
Hmm?
About the mediums.
What about the mediums?
The fact that James is on the mediums and it might help him.
Well, it's definitely going to help him because obviously he's on the fresher tire. But what I was trying to say was, he's about 10 seconds, I think, behind. Is that how it works out? Yeah, about 10.5 seconds behind Finns, who is sort of in the net lead at the moment once pit stops are taken into account for the top guys as well.
Yeah, 10.5.
It's, yeah, 10.5, give or take. So it's going to be interesting to see, especially because he's closed up a good chunk of time already. I do believe. Yeah, he's taken about a second out, so he's within 10, just about. So it's gonna come down to the last couple of laps, couple of moments, assuming all goes, nobody is gonna spin or anything like that.
I know why the Mercedes guys were battling so hard
Do
for
tell.
position. Because that means Tom Gorian, ahead of his teammate, means he gets the first pit stop. He gets the undercut, and that might help a wee bit. So Vapid has to stay out an extra lap. They're both in, obviously, the same pit box. Angelo moves up to third. Finns moves up to fourth. Will Finns go for a move on Angelo? Trying it on the outside. Angelo's gonna have a little bit of an incident. He's gonna go off the track.
Oof.
And I simply just think that's Angelo understeering into SFR Finns. It's a simple mistake, but it happens. That's gonna cost him a bit of time in the race. James has moved ahead of Tom Gorian. That's a crucial move.
That is a crucial move. I was going to say that must have been to do with the pits as well, because that's one of the cars that he would have needed to overtake to get to that net lead. And so, he's done that. That's one obstacle out of the way.
The undercut is absolutely overpowered. Vapid staying out. Inside the pits now. He's going to go inside his pit box, and inside he's going to change his tires whilst he's inside the pit box.
Have you got any more?
Angelo and Danny M7 about to go side by side. Let's hope Angelo doesn't have another half spin.
Well, he's not going to be on the outside this time because he of turn 2, but he's not going to really find that position. Danny back up to second place, 4 seconds behind Finns. Christ, I thought I was scraping the barrel with the inside jokes. And yet here you are doing probably a little bit worse than I am.
Oh, it's a real inside joke, that one. Well, it's not really an inside joke.
Right. Okay, so I'm going to go.
Bye.
Alright, bye. I'm just going to shut up now.
LZK Terrier, two seconds ahead of Lord James. I have a feeling that James is going to have the pace to catch Tarrier.
Oh, easily.
Always.
Easily. No, easily, because you've got to think about it this way. Lord James has A, been clambering through the pack, and B, he is on, he's had a little bit longer on those mediums, so you'd argue that he's probably got a bit more of an advantage. He knows them a little better, especially because he's also putting fastest lap of 1:13.9, which, by the way, is 6 seconds faster than what we saw in an intermediate qualifying session, for comparison.
Finn's has been comfortable all day, but with the pace of Lord James, maybe it won't be so easy. The gap is about 7.5 seconds between these two guys. And in 12 laps, I think James, if he plays the right cards, it can work out. Vapid's losing a lot of time. He's banking on a safety car, which is a very risky strategy. Lord James is purple in sector 2. Actually, no, the whole safety car thing. Scrap that. Vapid's in the pits.
Vapid's in the pits, so Finns is going to take the overall race lead. We are going to see what the actual gap is between himself and Lord James. It's 7 seconds, I think. So he's closed in over the past couple of laps. I think just needs to close in a little bit faster. I don't quite think this pace is gonna be enough if he keeps going. Could be, but I'm not massively confident.
And LTK Tarrier needs to get a move on as well, right behind Danny M7. 1.2 seconds the gap now. He's got very little ERS to play with at the moment. He's using up quite a bit of his battery as a theme with this guy. It's something he needs to get a better handle of, managing the ERS and using it at the right time, because every time I go on board with him, his battery's almost empty. It's like he can't stop pressing the button.
He can't stop pushing his buttons, kind of.
Alright.
Don't forget as well, ERL, the new league on Paddock Blue, has just recently been brought. It's round 2 at Alton Park for the 911 GT, the Porsche 911 GT3 Cup. That's on with Sam right now on Paddock Blue. You can catch round 1 on the International Paddock YouTube channel. If you just go search for us on there, you'll find us there. You can also watch all of our race replays on there as well.
But this is peak. This is the peak of league racing right here, ladies and gentlemen. RFL at Spain.
Listen. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying there's another option for after this, because we're coming to the end of this now, and we're not. Because we've got 11 to go after this.
No, we're only about 2/3 of the way through. We still have plenty of racing to go. And anything can happen.
What, 20 minutes? We're done in what, 20 minutes, if that? ERL has just started. So, after this, go raid Paddock Blue.
Oh, absolutely. But stay with us.
Stay with us for now. Stay with us for now, please. We beg. We need the viewers. On board with Tarrier as he comes down towards turn 1. We're on 10 to go now, and he's made up that position for second place. So Tarrier ahead of Danny. And the McLaren is in second place now, chasing the likes of Finn's, but look who's caught up right behind.
It's Lord James.
It's Lord James.
I remember for one of my videos from last season, because I was mentioning Lord James's name on my broadcast, it went to my video, and in the comment and in the description, YouTube put like people named in this video Lord James, or like I can't. It was like I think James the First or something like that. Interested. I'm like,
That's brilliant.
not
That
that
is
one.
brilliant.
Not
Oh my
that
word,
one.
that is bloody brilliant. Right into the final sector, these guys pour through. Lord James 6.3 seconds away. Needs a little bit more pace here, I think. I'm not quite sure if this is going to be enough for him. As down the front straight we go once again. Lord James bringing out that DRS, but so is Danny, and so is Tom Gorian directly behind. Is Danny going to try and move on Tarry? No, he doesn't. Very close is Lord James through the first chicane.
What on earth was Tarrier doing? That just seems like a very odd decision. He was willing to give up the best part of a second to try and let Danny through. So now he's burnt a lot of time, possibly, to Finns. He needs to catch this guy and win this race. He has
Final
the
couple
tires.
laps. Yeah, don't go anywhere. Sorry, ad break. Sorry, keep going.
I don't know, I didn't want you anymore.
Stop whining. You interrupted me. Right, a battle for second going on through 13 and then down to 14 once again as we make our way towards the final couple of laps here. Tarrier hogging that inside line, trying to prevent anybody else from getting there, but Danny's closing and he's got it away from the McLaren. And Lord James is actually attacked by Tom Gorian briefly, who tries to stick his nose in. Thankfully, no damage. Well, that was really tight and really
Lord
close.
Recast in... Oh, no, he's just...
In the pits.
In the pits. I just assumed he crashed.
Breathe.
Breathe.
Scott.
Breathe. I want to enter my Japanese commentator mode at some point. So these guys better start doing something interesting.
Oh, goodness me. I didn't think you had a Japanese commentator mode, I'll be honest.
By the way, how is Vapid for... Oh, wait. I know why. I forgot he stayed out for 20 laps. What a bozo.
Calm down.
It's Vapid Coot, I'm allowed to say that.
Okay. Okay. I'm not going to call him a bozo. Because I like Vapid. Sort of.
He's ginger and he's Scottish. That's like the worst combination of human being.
Ginger, I understand. Scottish is bearable, believe me. Down the front straight we go once again. Lap 27 of 33. Not many runs down here. Tom Gorian. Move on Lord James Tarrier. Move on Danny. Could Tom Gorian try and squeeze his way through up to third place? No, he can't, but Tarrier's back up to second place. It's as tight as you like. All four of these cars are within half a second here. As we come through turn 3, it's a jostle for position as they come into turn 4 contact with Danny and Tom side by side with the pair of them as they come into turn 5. Danny blocks it off as he tries to defend third place. He's losing time though to Tarrier, and they're both all losing time to Finns, who looks like he's just going to run away with this one.
It's a battle for P2. It's the one to watch at the moment, and we're about to go on to lap 28. 6 laps to sort this one out, but these guys are
oh my goodness. That laugh sounded like you were a hostage. What's happened with DT? Yellow flags were caused. I think he's just ran a smidge wide. And a smidge into the wall as well. He doesn't have
of running
right
a smidge
front
wide,
plate.
Lord James just drove off at the final turn. That's going to be another track limits warning. Could that affect the result?
Oh, it's incredibly close. Let me have a look quickly at his track limits penalties. Has he picked up any? No, he's only got the one.
Vapid's closed in by a second. So is XRT inside. Can these guys catch this pack for P2 by the end?
Briefly.
Wow! This is
briefly side by side, but Lord James could be looking for a move out of turn 5 down to turn 6. Tom Gorian did get the drive instead, though. As we come back down the hill towards turn 7, Tom Gorian mistake!
Tom Gorian's made a mistake. He's down to P5, but it's not going to affect him that much. Vapid's closed in. 1.9. He's closed in.
Back end is loose. Yeah, sorry, back end was a bit loose on the exit at turn 7. Could not quite get that traction down out of turn 7 and then back up the hill through the kink at 8. Down the front straight we go once again. 5 to go. And if the pair behind are closing in, and they seem to be, well, this could be a very tasty prospect. All 6 of those guys know how to race. Down towards turn 1. Inside has actually taken over a Vapid spot, but that's for P6. So sort of grand scheme of things doesn't necessarily matter all too much. But if he can be the first man to get himself into that battle, he's got the best chance at picking up a few extra positions.
And these guys are going to be going even wilder with the moves as the last laps progress here.
Absolutely.
This is a race that's going to be all about timing. All about timing and maybe a little bit of luck.
DT's come into the pit lane to partly fix his front wing, but also probably to go for fastest lap here. Maybe try and take it away from, I think Lord James has it as it stands. Let me briefly take a look. It is Lord James, the 13.947. Fastest lap so far, next fastest. You have to go all the way down. Actually, Tom Gorian has got a 13.98. And then Vapid a 14.15. In terms of fastest laps, as we've got 4 to go here. Right, let's see what happens. Danny's closing. Lord James is closing. Tom Gorian also closing, but not quite as much. And Danny's made up the position. Lord James also looking for it.
Jesus!
On LTK Terrier, he dives down the inside. Contact, and off he goes. Off he goes. And here come, right on the scene, Lord James in the middle of the battle now with Vapid Koo, who's got the outside line into turn 4.
That is a
still
nightmare.
Oh, he's still got it. Inside of 5 is on the cards here as they dive. Space is left by the Ferraris. His contact as well. Off the track he goes. And Vapid through to P5. At a time that I don't imagine he thought he was actually going to be able to do it.
That was reckless from Lord James. That was desperate, and that was not calculated at all. And that's going to not only hurt his race, it's hurting Vapid's race, it's hurting XRT Inside's race. That is such a mistake. You cannot afford at this point in the race to do stuff like that.
We'll talk about him being reckless. He was trying to make a move between 10 and 11, which is horrifically difficult at the best of times. 3 to go here. Lord James re-overtakes. Vapid is sort of, I don't know, a revenge poke. I don't quite know what you want to call it. But Lord James up to 5th place. And he is just, he's got to just try and keep 5th place at this point. I don't imagine he's going to be able to close up to the rest of the guys ahead. But we'll see. There's still 2.5 to go. Yeah, like you say, anything can happen.
Oh, Tom spotted out. He's going to drop down to P6. Another mistake in the last few laps for Tom Gorian is going to cost him crucial places. This is what's happening with Tom every race this season. A mistake towards the end, a penalty, a half spin, or both. This is what's happening to this guy. And I just can't believe it.
Sorry, you saying crucial places sounded like a Mrs. Doubtfire for a little bit. And that was honestly hilarious.
LTK Terrier. Can he pass Danny M7?
2 to go here. Let's have a look. How fast does he go? 195, 196. Does he go faster? No, 196 is the top out here. And LTK Terrier does take 2nd place away from Danny here on this penultimate run. But that does put Danny in a pretty good position here. Because then he can re-overtake down towards turn 1. And it's not impossible, but it's difficult to overtake outside of that front straight. So, you know, if he can re-overtake coming through there, it's very, very possible that we could see Danny retake 2nd place on the last lap here.
Does Terrier want to try and hold the battery as much as he can, stay in none. That's what he's doing. That is what he's doing.
I think
He's
Danny's
trying to
realised
let
that. Danny makes a move
through.
into 10.
He's trying to let
He's
Danny
trying.
through.
He's trying, but at
And
this point...
Nine, look at this! James
Yeah.
has caught them! Look at this! Wow!
James has caught them. Vapid, Tom, who we thought was out of this battle for second place, is sorted back into it inside a very big stretch. Down here we go. Final lap. Final run down the front straight. Tarrier is going to get absolutely pummeled here. Danny at the last minute takes second place. Does Lord James squeeze his way onto the podium? No, not quite yet. There's still a couple of opportunities. They're a little bit of a stretch, granted, but there's still a couple of opportunities where he can make that. Into turn 4 is on the cards, is it? No, it is still too far away. Through turn 5 is also an option, but needs to be a little bit closer. DT picks up 3 seconds. The track limits. I don't think he's quite been able to get that fastest lap. Through turn 5 we go.
This is crucial. They were faffing about on the last lap to try and break that toe, but there was none of it.
Final real straight, here we go. Does Tarrier dive down the inside? He makes a bit of a lunge, but he can't quite make it work. And Lord James is looking on the inside. That doesn't work either. Fins is coming across the line to take the win. His third on the spin for RFL, and he's, well, about 5th, 6th maybe this year in the International Paddock Stratosphere. He is going to take first place. Danny 2nd, Tarrier 3rd, Lord James 4th, Vapid 5th, Tom Gorian 6th, and Inside 7th.
That's a big crash at the end with Inside and Tom Gorian involved. But they have crossed the start-finish line, but that was a close race. That was fantastic to watch. Unpredictable and entertaining, and it was just fabulous. Angelo's crashed across the line as well.
Well, Angelo tries to crash, but I don't think he quite managed to because all his wheels are still on the car. Senna 9th. DT coming round.
We're setting a standard
10th
here.
place. Right, let's see what the rest of these guys do. DT still on the soft tyres. Is he going to be able to set the fast lap? I don't quite think he can. No, a little too far away for that one, but he's still.
Because Glasgow, oh my God, P11.
Does he? DT in 10th, and Kislesko finishes in 11th place. Scott, driver of the day?
I would. I'd have to say Danny M7. What Danny M7 did today with the strategy and staying with those, I know Finn's pulled away. He had an easy race, and it'd be easy to give it to him. However, I don't always like giving it to the winner. Danny put on a good show. He made some great overtakes, and when he was put in that battle, he was the one who came out on top. He was the one who managed to outsmart everyone, and he made the hard tires work against everyone who was on the mediums. So
definitely agreed. Yeah, no, definitely agreed. I put LTK Tarrier up there as well because he did incredibly well. But that's a lot here from RFL. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to tune in tomorrow night with Andrew and Mike, where you're going to have round 12 of the Masters, which is about to be a cracker around Zandvoort. I'm back not next week, the week after, on Paddock Red for the finale of the 100. Scott, you're probably back, what, next Saturday?
It depends on how I feel. If I want to do a commentary for a league, I'll let you guys know. It's a mystery. You'll find out next stream that you hear. You might hear my voice, you might not. It's the mystery of the paddock. Thank you so much, Kacper, for joining me tonight for the RFL stream.
No worries, mate. Pleasure.
It's been
Pleasure. Doesn't happen often.
It's been lonely the first few races, but you made the race a lot more exciting.
Yeah. But that's it from London and Ireland. Take care, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Adios.